We've got some quality group racing coming up at Sha Tin this weekend. Welcome to Racing to Win, and it's all previewed for you right here on the show. 10 races out of the local meeting. We've got the boys in the studio to talk us through it. Also, Paul Alley and Tom Wooden. Tom, what a field it is.
It certainly is, Mark. There's actually been some good horses miss out on this race this year, and they might get an opportunity to run next weekend. But stellar lineup this year. It's got Voyage Bubble, of course. He's pushed the weights right down for a few runners here, including My Wish, and plenty of horses that haven't had 115 on their back for a long time, if ever. You touched on My Wish, a very special guest coming up on the show shortly, but we of course need to say hello to Paul Alley first.
Yeah, good afternoon there, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. And look, it's going to be a fantastic afternoon on Sunday here. 9 of those horses are in 115, so it just shows how the weights have been compressed with Voyage Bubble in the race. One jackpot comes up early too, race 2, into the quartet and first 4 merged, Paul.
Let's crack straight into it with the meeting details and a look at the field as we head to that venue right there. First race, 12:45. There is a simulcast race from Japan, so it's an earlier start. And race 7, the Group 2, the Sha Tin Trophy, is the feature on the show at 4:10. 1,600 metres. And here is the field. Voyage Bubble, the rating column and the weight column, the only things you need to worry about, especially the weight. 134 Voyage Bubble, then it drops away. Galaxy Patch cheek pieces off. We've got Straight Aaron with the crossover noseband off and the visor on. My Wish has drawn barrier number 11. Alexi Bedell has the ride for Mark Newnham. Co-partner Prance has been racing well. Happy Together races well course and distance. Beauty Eternal has the earplugs back on. Sword Point has the cheek pieces off and the visor back on. Normally, it will be straight to the speed map right about now. Things are a little different today because the speed map's going to come up in an interview with our special guest, the trainer of My Wish. Mark Newnham's about to join us. Same to You's flying home, steamrolled through the middle. Same to You as the one, and Newnham goes race to race. Lucky Sam Gore starts to extend down the centre, and he's coming fast. He's coming too fast for them, Lucky Sam Gore. And it is for Luke Ferraris as My Wish hit the gap and won the Celebration Cup. Straight to our special guest today on Racing to Win. Big thanks to Mark Newnham for joining us on the show. And Mark, before we get to My Wish on Sunday, let's touch on the start to the season. You must be happy with how things have progressed in the first 11 meetings so far.
Yeah, absolutely. We had horses that were ready to go and some quite well-rated horses who didn't have too many runs last year, and they've really stepped up this season.
Because of that, did you have to change too much, or you were happy to let the ratings speak for themselves after such a successful season last year?
Yeah, look, I think there was a nice group of younger horses coming through. And a few of those have started to win now, that I didn't overexpose last year. They did a good job for us, and some of them didn't win, but probably had, points in hand. And just through that little break and, being a bit more mature and acclimatising a little better, they've hit form early in the season.
Are there many still to debut for the season that are in the system already? Obviously, they'll continue to arrive as the season goes on, but there's still a lot of new ones to come at this stage.
Yeah, we've got some horses trialling tomorrow at Happy Valley, and we had a few last week in Chungfa. So through probably November and December, you'll see a lot of those newer horses.
Do you think about trainers' premierships even this far out, or you just let the numbers speak for themselves?
Yeah, I think, the 2 seasons I've been here, Pierre had a lead big enough to win the Melbourne Cup and got run down. And last year everyone said John Size had no hope come December, and he won it. So I don't think, results early in the season don't necessarily, reflect the premiership winner at the end. So, at the time you're just trying to win every race you can, and I'll start focusing on that if and when it's applicable come June and July.
Absolutely, you're keeping the owners happy with the winners you are raking, and the owners of the little horse My Wish must be absolutely loving this little horse and what he's been doing for them.
Yeah, look, they do, and you know the ladies who own him, they're great owners. They really enjoy the horse and just love him to bits, and it's easy to see why. I mean, he's the most genuine horse you could get. He's never run a bad race since he's been here. He keeps improving. You know, physically and mentally, he's a lot tougher again this season, and you know, I think the best is still ahead of him.
Does he surprise you with what he does now, Mark, or you just take it for granted that he's such a good, honest little horse that you know what you're going to get from him?
I think, look, from about a week before the Derby, I started to really think he's going to make top class. He put in a gallop about about 8 or 9 days before the Derby. We sat him in behind a horse on the course proper, and he just blew it away and showed that turn of foot that he showed in the Derby. And before Luke could even get off him, I looked at him and he had a smile on his face, and I said to him, "Was that as good as it looked?" And he said, "Yeah." And I think from that day onwards, I've had, you know, enough faith in the horse to think that he's going to reach the top grade at some stage.
No Luke Ferraris this week due to the fact that Voyage Bubble's in the race and carries 135. Alexi had a sit on him in a trial in the last week or so. Were you both happy with the way he went around on the all-weather?
Yeah, if you weren't happy with that trial, you're hard to please. He was in against you know, good quality opposition, and you know, he still went to the line, you know, well on the bridle, with, you know, good and well-rated horses around him who were, you know, pushed a little bit. But he has had the advantage of having had a start already this season, so he probably had a fitness advantage on those horses. But yeah, he went to the line with, you know, a bit in the tank.
Mark, it's Paul here. Just with the speed map, he's drawn barrier 11. We know you went back in the Derby from a wide draw. Where do you expect him to be in the run in this particular race?
Look, I think, you know, the Derby's a different story because you've got a short run to the first turn. He's usually got good gate speed, and he won from a lot of wide gates last season. And from the 1,600-metre start, you've got a long time to make up your mind. So, you know, the way it looks to me, without even talking with Alexi yet, is that with co-partner Prance drawn, you know, right inside him, he'll be the obvious leader of the race. And if he jumps well, he can let him stride into a forward position. Whereabouts that is, we'll have a good think about that in the next few days. But he does have the advantage of having 115 on his back and current race fitness. So those things we've got to take into account. And, you know, you get a long time down the back there to make up your mind.
So before we move on to your other runners, Mark, at this stage leading into Sunday, you absolutely couldn't be happy with where he's at, My Wish?
Yeah, look, he had his final piece of work this morning, and yeah, he was terrific. He's eating well, holding his condition. You know, everything since the first race of the season's been positive for him, so no reason to think any differently going into Sunday.
Mark, you've got Same to You lining up in a race down the straight. What's the theory dropping him all the way back to 1,000 metres here?
Fast pace, riding quiet. He's got a good turn of foot. Just talking with Alexi, it was probably a bit close the other day compared to his first win of the season. So from, you know, dropping back to the 1,000, it should enable a fast pace and be able to ride him that little bit more conservatively, and it might just open up a few more options for him. He's won at Happy Valley and Sha Tin now, but he's at the highest rating he's ever had. So, you know, since he began off 52, so he's in his current form, he's going well enough to run well.
You've got Mission Strike lining up over the 1,800 metres off that rain-affected track last time out. Tongue Tie goes on. He's drawn well. Is he building closer to win this horse?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I was a touch disappointed in his race, but it was difficult conditions, and he did improve vastly second up last season and 1,800. So he's drawn a good gate. Luke suggested the tongue tie after his first up run. Might just help his breathing a little bit. He closed off okay, but I think, you know, with that run under his belt, he'll certainly improve.
Lucky Sam Gore coming up there in race number 5, Mark. Now, he won over 1,400 metres last start. You did try him up to 1,600 last season. What do you think's his best distance going to be?
Well, I'd love him to get him out again in distance, but we've taught him to race a little more conservatively now, and it's showing in his finish. And he's one of those horses that last year always showed a little bit, but didn't quite get the job done. He's come back in good order in his 2 runs so far. Jerry Chow gave him a great ride the other day, and he's drawn a similar type of gait, so he's going to have to ride him in a similar fashion, but it does seem to suit the horse. He did get a fast pace last start, but the horse has come through it well. I think he's capable, even with the ratings jump. He's got better ability than where his rating was before that win.
Infinite Resolve, Mark, is lining up in race number 8. Schnitzel, 4-year-old, chased home the exciting Bulb General last time out. He looked like he's very close to getting through the winner's line this week.
Yeah, he was touch disappointing first up, but we decided to ride him back off the pace a little the other day. And look, he probably wins any other Class 3 1200, but got beaten by a good horse. His performance was good. He seems in the same sort of form from a good gait. You know, you'd imagine he'll be in the finish there somewhere.
And in the last, you've got Max Q. Now, he had 4 seconds last season, but he's unbeaten this season with 2 wins. Is he just one of those horses that needed a season? Yeah,
he was big, gangly, raw horse when he arrived here, and he's just improved with that bit of time. He's obviously got a lot stronger. He's been aided by 2 very good rides from inside gates, but he's drawn well again on Sunday, and I don't think the mile will be any danger to him. He seems to be strong at each of the races he's been at. He's been strong at the finish, so I think the mile will be no problem for him either.
Mark, it's a lovely team you've got in across the meeting at Sha Tin. Is there one that you do think is a standout amongst them?
Oh, I think I'd have to say My Wish. I mean, he's best horse in my stable, and he's going in there in good form. He doesn't let us down too often.
It's going to be great to see him out there because he's just a little engine with a huge heart, is My Wish. And Mark, we thank you for your time. You're on Race and you win. Best of luck at Sha Tin on Sunday.
Great. Thanks. Anytime, guys.
Always great with his time is Mark Newnham. No different today here on Racing to Win. Can't wait to see My Wish on Sunday. That's been the first part of the show. Back with a whole lot more right after this. Welcome back. This is Racing to Win as we wind our way through the Sha Tin Trophy here on the show. We'll look at the contenders outside of My Wish shortly. Firstly, though, Paul, we need to report on your last run reminder. This was one heck of a good debut by this horse. Wasn't it? He was wide most of the way as well. And Star Rise, you can see him there. He drew wide, obviously. Sort of had to go back originally from that wide draw. And he settled sort of right at the back there. And they didn't go quick. Sort of on stand, and then he was looking for runs all the way down the straight and still hadn't come at this stage. He was sort of following backsides, and he decided just to go back for the inside, and there was the smallest of gaps there, and just opened up at the right time, to be fair, and the horse ends up running second. So fantastic debut for him, and hopefully he can go on with it from here. Want to run around a little bit in that last bit too. Rider changed the whip hand at about the 50 metre mark. So Star Rise, race 8, number 5, is the last run reminder. Back now to the Sha Tin Trophy we go, and Voyage Bubble is back, the Triple Crown winner from last season, and Matthew Poon is the man that gets the opportunity on the big horse this week. Matthew, after doing so much work on Voyage Bubble, you must be very thankful to Ricky and the owners for putting you on race day on Sunday.
100%. Like, I can't thank the owner and Ricky give me such a great opportunity to jump on the horse. I'm really looking forward to with Bubble against some rising stars. So yeah, it will be a very tight and interesting race here. Unfortunately for you, you have 135 pounds on your back. A lot of good horses lighter weight. How much does the weight worry you? Of course, that's my only worry. Yeah, but but you can see Bubble. He got true ability and his big horses. Hopefully he can handle 1v5. But of course, other rising star, they only carry 115. So yeah, well, we'll see, and hopefully I can win together with Bubble.
You rode him in his last trial. Were you happy with that trial?
The trial, I would say just okay. Like he's feeling the condition, like improving the form. But after trial, I get up on him on the grass. He feel improved after trial, and I really like his grass gallop. Yeah, so hopefully after the grass gallop, he even better as well.
Matthew Poon there talking Voyage Bubble. We can talk about him now, Tom, off the back of this replay upcoming, which also features Galaxy Patch, who ends up winning this race. Voyage Bubble second. And we've got Straight Aaron, the mainstays like Beauty Joy, Beauty Eternal and Redline also in this replay.
Yeah, of course, this was the Sha Tin Trophy last year that Galaxy Patch won. He wore the cheek pieces for his final run last season in the Champions Mile, but they've been dispensed with here. This was the only sole race he was able to win last year. Rapport carrying 129 pounds. He's obviously carrying less here, but he's not exactly been convincing in some of those runs after this win.
No, he's going to have to pick up. He's had that rest, and maybe the rest was good for him. He's trialled okay well earlier this season, so the trial wasn't too bad. One thing about Voyage Bubble, the 1600 is arguably his best distance. I know they stretched him out last time, but he is a six-time winner over the 1600.
And he's got an amazing ability, both horse and rider, Tom, to find himself in the right spot.
Always finds himself in the right sort of spot. He can jump so well, puts himself into the race, but obviously with the handicap conditions here, I think it's just going to be that bit tough with the five-time Group 1 winner giving so much weight away to the majority of the field.
Yeah, 135 pounds on the back of Voyage Bubble. Tom, here is a trial of Beauty Joy, who looked pretty good in doing this. He's a horse that was actually back in the winners list 2 starts prior to the end of last season. He's going to have to win from 14, though.
Yeah, he normally goes back, and if there's some pace on, that's certainly a good thing for him because he can fire up. He's got such a light mouth, this horse. Premier Plate win was that victory back at the end of June at Group 3 level, but he is going to certainly, Paul, feel like he's running loose with 117 on his back. Yeah,
that's one thing with that lightweight. He won 2 races. He's won a race last season. He won a race the season before. Both of them came later in the season. He had 9 runs the first time, then 11 runs to win those races. So, look, from 14, and he's getting a year. He is a year older now.
The Ferret, Paul, Cap Ferrar. Here's a trial win from him. He comes from last and charges down the outside. His sole win is simply the Derby still, though.
That's amazing, isn't it? He's a maiden winning the Derby, and that's the only race he's won. But in saying that, he's been very consistent winning that Derby. He did run second fresh up last season when he first got here in Hong Kong. But that was off an 80 rating. He's up to 108 now.
There's nothing wrong with him, I think, coming into with us this weekend. Cap Ferrar sounds like they're certainly sticking towards the Hong Kong mile, and he's a horse that was a decent enough performer without winning in Australia over the 1600 metres.
Paul, quickly, a couple of horses that have raced well this season already. Co-partner Prance and also Happy Together. Yeah,
Co-partner Prance has got that wide draw and he's got pace underneath him. But I do like Happy Together. He was 3 or 4 wide last time. He's got a lot better draw and he maps really well. And he's £5 better off with My Wish coming into this.
All right, that's a good push for him. Happy Together, Tom, in your radar?
Yeah, definitely off that last run again. Lightweight, big positive there for him.
There you go. So that's the boys' thoughts there. We headed out to Sha Tin on Friday morning at track work to try and hunt down and found some expert analysis for the race.
Yeah, obviously most of the focus surrounds Voyage Bubble versus My Wish, the proven star versus the rising star, really, isn't it? And the big weight difference between the two, 20 pounds, it's going to be pretty significant. But even outside of those two, it's a quality race. Galaxy Patch, a few other Group 1 winners in there as well. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Yeah, it looks like he's right on track. Obviously, this race last year, I think he ran second to Galaxy Patch, but he was wide throughout that time and had top weight as well. So a better draw for him this year. In barrier 6, he should be poised to strike and should run a big race. quite liked his last trial. It was really impressive, beating less than a length. And yeah, it looks like he's on track to run a good race. He's unfortunately drawn wide, barrier 13. Good chance for Richard Kingscote jumping on with the lighter weight. But yeah, maybe the draw might just bring him unstuck a little bit. Who could not be impressed with him? He's just a rising star of the mile ranks here. He's probably a Group 1 winner in waiting. He was so good last season, and on his Celebration Cup win, it's hard to argue that he's come back an even better horse. So yeah, plenty of excitement around him on Sunday and going forward as well. Yeah, I quite like Cap Ferrard. If there was to be a bit of an upset with one of the two sort of big stars in this race going down, I don't mind Cap Ferrard. I liked his trials. Obviously last season he proved himself winning a Derby. It was an upset result, but he ran some good races either side of the Derby, and yeah, if he's improved a bit from last season, I think he can make his presence felt here on Sunday. I'll have to stick with My Wish. It's hard to go past him. I know he's drawn barrier 11, but he can win from the front. He can win from just tucking in behind the leaders. He can win from the back. So very hard to go past My Wish.
Jane Rooney there, sexed up too with that music in the background. The SCMP reporter going with My Wish. Paul, are you going My Wish as well?
No, he's in there, My Wish. I'm going to go for a little minor upset here with Happy Together. Very hard run last time. Does meet My Wish a lot better at the weights and has drawn better than My Wish. He's on top, wedged in between Voyage Bubble, the class horse, and the Galaxy Patch, last year's winner. 8-1-6-2.
He's extremely tough to beat in this race. I think My Wish with the lightweight on his back. He was under double wraps in a trial with Alexia Bedell on board for Mark Newnham. Cap Ferrard goes in, Keith Young and Francis Lloyd. He has to be respected, the Derby winner. I think they're sticking to 1,600 metres this prep anyway for him. Happy Together and Voyage Bubble. Hard to leave the five-time Group 1 winner out. 6-10, 8-1.
It's a super race. It's race number 7. That race and all of the races also previewed on the website hkjc.com. It's best bet time. Paul, who do you like?
A horse that's been downgraded comes into this race as Brilliant Express. He comes up as in race 9. Now, you can see him right at the back here. This is Tomodachi Kokoro winning, and he's come out, Tomodachi Kokoro, and won impressively once again, really franked up the form. This is a lot easier for him. He's got to carry the big weight. He's drawn a lot better. There was a lot of money around for him this afternoon as well, and you can see why he just finished off strongly. Down back into Class 3. I think he looks really well placed. So Brilliant Express, and the value play in the last. California Waves only had 2 starts and sprinted well off a slow pace. Last start over 14, steps up to 1,600 metres, and the play with 3, 4 and 8 in race number 6 at QQP.
We'll go the best. Mark Newnham was on earlier, and he's got Infinite Resolve engaged in race number 8. The value, the Golden Knight, never been the quickest away from the stalls, but ran well last start. Trial was good, and we'll go the play with My Wish, Happy Together, and Cap Ferrard for race number 7.
Riding Together is trolled like a jet. David Eustace, Andrea Atzani is the best. Race 9 at number 10. The long shot, Ocean Impact, stepping up in trip. Keegan DeMello rides for Douglas White from a kind draw of 4. And the play comes up in race 9, 3, 5, 10 in a QQP. Diary's about to come up onto the screen here. Tom, talk us through what's upcoming. We start with the meeting, of course, on Sunday.
Yes, of course. We are live slightly earlier because of Japanese simulcast race. The Longines Cup coming up Wednesday night, and Group 2 racing again next weekend, Paul, with the Premier Bowl and also the Panasonic Cup. So a few runners that miss out this weekend will get an opportunity to run there.
Yeah, and then there's the Ladies' Purse coming up on the 9th of November as well. So that's all happening coming up.
It is indeed. That has been racing. Big thanks to both Tom, Paul and to you as well. And we'll see you at Sha Tin from the 1st at 12:45 on Sunday.